Okay, this is it. As far as the individual track races go, the very last individual global gold to be secured here in Budapest. Perez Chematai is the reigning Olympic champion. Jacqueline Chepkoech, the fastest woman in the world this year. Beatrice Chepkoech just moving through shot there. She's the world record holder. Here's a little note for the very talented Ethiopians in this field. No Ethiopian man or woman has ever won a global steeplechase gold, either in the World Championships or in the Olympic Games. Dance music's pumping. They're getting ready for a big party here in Budapest. They're going to celebrate the end of an absolutely fantastic World Championship. And there's a little bit of electricity around the Kenyans after Mary Mora's fabulous gold, and they've really milked it, the three medalists in the 8. They were going around the stadium with their flags and all looked really happy. The Norwegians in the background, well, their chests are puffed out after Inga Britson producing the golden moment in the 5,000. I'm really intrigued by this race, Hannah, because Jacqueline Chepkoech, as I mentioned, you know, she won the Commonwealth title last year. She's the fastest woman in the world this year. But that performance, there she is with number 2 on her hip. That performance is her only time inside 9 minutes. And Beatrice Chepkoech, her namesake, not related, is coming back to some decent form. And we can't rule out the very talented team from Ethiopia. I can't work out who's going to win this.
I agree with everything you've said there. I think Beatrice Chepkoech, she's got so much experience, but don't sleep on Winfred Yavi of Bahrain as well. She ran a fantastic solo 9:04 at the Arab Games, closing in a 2:58, and that's what I kind of look for. If you can do that on your own, that erratic pacing, that hard finish, that's what you need in a championship steeplechase.
Perez Chematai, the Olympic champion. Uganda's first female to claim gold in the Olympic Games, a big star. So too is Jacqueline Chepkoech. She's only represented Kenya twice, and she's won on both occasions. World Juniors in 21, Com Games last year. Lomi Muleta, African Junior bronze a few years ago. Buzayani, 9th last year, massive improvement. Winfred Yavi, 4th fastest in the world this year. She's 6th on the all-time list. Got a World Junior bronze a few years ago. Olivia Girth has won the European Under-23s this year. Our other Kenyan is a World Junior champion, Faith Cheretich. No teenagers ever won a medal. She too is only 19. Louise Gager's taken a step up in class. She's on the 9-10 territory. Chowdhury is the Asian champion. Mismatch Shermshek has been running really well this year. She was 6th in the Tokyo final. What about LMU? 2nd in Doha, 1 Florence, only 18. She's very, very quick, and no one's talking about her. If her nerve holds, she could run really, really well. Courtney Wayman representing the United States. No Emma Coburn in this final, the former champion for the first time in a decade. Beatrice Chepkoech, the world champion in Doha. A few tough seasons since then. She's run her best time for 4 years this year. She's down to low 9:04, so I wonder if she'll have to run quicker. Wande Megan, 8th 2 years ago as a teenager, and Alice Finot, European indoor silver a couple of years ago. She's on the outside. We've got the Olympic champion, Commonwealth champion, European champion, and 9 of the fastest 10 women in the world this year. What a way for the last gold to be awarded on the individual program. Beatrice Chepkoech, the world record holder, with her best time in 4 years, going straight to the front on a night that has already brought gold for the Kenyans in the women's 800 meters. It's a steady pace, but how interesting, Hannah, that we've got a little group of 4 who've already got a few meters against the rest, although now they begin to sense that they need to close the gap. I thought it was Yavi, and she is the one in 5th, now attaching the rest of the group back to the leading 4. to this last individual final of an utterly gripping, enthralling, electrifying World Athletics Championships. You run out of superlatives when you talk about how good it's been in Budapest here. It's a balmy night, a sheen of sweat already forming on the foreheads of these athletes. And it's interesting that we've got the world record holder at the front. She's acting like a pacemaker here. It's not a savage pace, it's solid. She's staying out of trouble, and by being at the front, she has the best line of sight to the barriers. But this is very steady at the moment, and watch for Lemieux. She is such a good athlete, and at the tender age of 18, we're talking about the Kenyans having this big battle. Lemieux in second place has got nothing to lose and everything to gain in this race.
And Lemieux as well, she's been building her experience on the Diamond League circuit. She's gone to Doha, she's gone to Florence, gone to Lausanne, lots of top 3 finishes. And conversely, we've got the 2 World Junior champions from Kenya. Yes, Jacqueline Chepkoech is building her experience ever so slightly, but I'd say Sembo Lemieux of Ethiopia has been doing more so. She's been racing these women week in, week out, and she's sitting in 3rd place at the moment, the best of the youngsters so far.
Jacqueline Chepkoech, the fastest woman in the world this year, now just going over the barrier. That's an uncomfortably large gap, I think. She's in 6th place and needs to close this gap because Winfred Yavi has just come past the shoulder of 1 or 2 of the athletes. Recognising the danger here, Jacqueline Chepkoech, I wonder if she's got a problem. She's now closing up on Lemieux. Just talking about the woman on the extreme right of picture. One of the favourites for this title, the Commonwealth champion. She has just about reattached herself to this group, but she needs to pay very, very close attention to what's going on at the front.
I just don't feel like Chepkoech's hurdling is up to scratch today. What we'd normally see of her, we can see her just going over the water jump there. She hurdles it, and she's losing ground for me with almost every hurdle, and then having to battle to get herself back to the group. Conversely, Beatrice Chepkoech at the front is looking smooth. She's looking in control. She's got nobody to push and barge and worry about over the barriers. It was a great win in Lausanne for Beatrice Chepkoech, and she said she really concentrated on her tactics that night. It was 2:58, 6:06, when the pacemaker dropped out, and then she lifted her pace for a 3:01 final kilometre. And Chepkoech, she's got experience for days. They've passed 4 laps to go, and she's opening up a slight gap on the rest of the field.
And I'm surprised to see the Ethiopians drifting off the back. They're going to have to work very hard to close this gap. Perith Chemetai's in 4th. Yavi has now gone past Faith Cheretich, so we do have a Kenyan in 3rd, as well as Beatrice Chepkoech, but the fastest woman in the world this year at the moment, Jacqueline Chepkoech, is nowhere. Winfred Yavi is poised to strike here. Former Kenyan, now represents Bahrain and has done so for a while. Perith Chemetai, that distinctive left flick of her legs as she goes over the water jump. But Beatrice Chepkoech is definitely trying to run the sting out of the rest of these athletes to ensure that she doesn't get dragged into a sprint finish at the end.
She certainly is. You look back at the rest of the field there, they're just getting gapped ever so slightly. Perith Chemetai drifting back into 4th place. Wanda Megan trying to close the gap up to the Olympic champion. But the first 3 are just starting to glide away ever so slightly. Yavi hasn't missed a step here. She's really stuck to her task, got back on the coattails here of Beatrice Chepkoech. We're nearing up on 2 kilometres. The first split was 2:58 for the opening kilometre. Beatrice Chepkoech has led the whole way. I think she has pushed on in this 2nd K. It's so often slow when we're on the circuit, when we lose the pacemaker. But if it's anything under 6 minutes and we're on for a sub-9 clocking, that is why this field has been blown apart. There it is, another 2:58 kilometre for Beatrice Chepkoech. She's doing all the running here.
And we need to keep a close eye on Wanda Megan. She's desperately trying to close the gap on Perith Chemetai, who goes round there in 4th place. Cheretich running really well. The teenager in 3rd place. Wanda Megan is trying to close the gap, but they're coming round now with 2 laps to go. There's Cheretich in 3rd. World Junior champion last year. No teenagers ever won a medal in this event. Perith Chemetai, the Olympic champion, is isolated at the moment, but Wanda Megan is beginning to close on the Ugandan, but surely she's left it too late to try and get a medal. This has been blistering from Beatrice Chepkoech. We watched Girth. She's the World Under-23 champion this year, and she's been blown out the back by this relentless, searing pace. It may have looked easy from Beatrice Chepkoech, but little by little she's whittled them down, and this has been tough.
Chepkoech hasn't had to chop her stride at all over these hurdles, and conversely, look, for me, Yavi is just tucked herself in behind Chepkoech. That's what you expect to see in an endurance race. It makes sense, but I think it's better to swing wide around the barriers and give yourself a better look at them. And Yavi, she's okay over that water jump. She chooses to hurdle it. She's not trying to sight it enough to put her foot on it. But when she's right behind Beatrice Chepkoech here, she's expending energy, she's stuttering. But these women are building momentum. It's going to be 450 metres to go at the front.
Wanda Megan is definitely eyeing up the bronze. She's closing on Cherotich in third. They take the medal in the final of the women's 3,000 steeplechase. After an utterly absorbing 8 days of action, this is the last individual gold available. Winfred Yavi trying to pull away from the world record holder, and she's opening up a gap here. This is quick. Can Beatrice Chepkoech find something? She mustn't allow that gap to get any bigger. Coming right back to form, that's Cherotich in third, but Wanda Megan is closing. There's the Ethiopian just on the bottom right of picture. She's been winding it up lap after lap, and she's reeling in the Kenyan. It's going to be very, very tight for the bronze, but Winfred Yavi here. Penultimate barrier, hurdles it, nicely done. Looks over her shoulder, she's got the gap. Yavi, what a story this would be. One last barrier, and then she's on a pathway to gold. She's not far away from the championship record. It's the best performance in the world this year. Heartache of fourth in Doha, fourth in Eugene, but it's all gold for Winfred Yavi tonight. A brilliant run, 8:54. Chepkoech takes the silver, and in the end, Faith Cherotich does hang on for the bronze, the first teenager ever to get on the podium. And she will have run very, very close to 9 minutes. That was searingly fast in the end. Yavi looked like she could have gone even harder if Chepkoech had been closer. She's beaten the world record holder and scorched onto the top 10 of all-time list. That was brilliant.
Tactical brilliance there from Yavi. I questioned tucking in behind Chepkoech, but perhaps she was feeling comfortable. It didn't matter that she was stuttering into those barriers. She was content just to bide her time. It was a strong, strong move down the home straight at the penultimate time before they took the bell. And from that point, Yavi just didn't really look back. Beatrice Chepkoech tried very hard to stay on terms with Yavi, but she couldn't manage it, and Faith Cherotich stuck to her task supremely well. A personal best for the youngster, and third place under real pressure. The other athletes were piling up behind her. Yavi looked absolutely delighted.
That run puts her fourth on the all-time list with 8:54.29. Amazing from her. National records for the French woman, Fino, in fifth. National record for Misma Surmzek of Slovenia in sixth. Huge performances all the way down the field. And after missing out, coming agonisingly close to a global podium twice, she tastes gold. And all credit to Beatrice Chepkoech. It's been a hard few seasons since she won that world title in Doha. She's back on the global podium, and there's absolutely no disgrace with an 8:58 silver. Brilliant by the Kenyan.